Hey, today we're going to show you how the Big Days Chase Rack system works with both T-Track compatible tonneau covers as well as non-T-Track tonneau covers. So check it out. The first system, let's show you the T-Track compatible system. So what that means, some tonneau covers have a T-Track that runs along the top of the tonneau cover. This allows you to bolt other accessories into it. We have made the Big Days Chase Rack system compatible with these T-Track systems. To start, with this system, you'll want to buy our T-Track conversion kit. What this does is this will come with 4 of these right here. An 8mm bolt, a washer, and then a T-nut. This T-nut is designed to slide into this track here. With this T-nut here, this will allow you to bolt the chase rack directly into the T-track of the tonneau cover. You'll have your bolt and your washer that go on top, and then the T-nut will go underneath to allow this to bolt right to here. Now, if you're not sure about this whole T-track system, just so you know, they are rated to 700 pounds of strength. This one specifically that we're using right now is rated up to 1,000 pounds, but it works on all of these tonneau cover systems. With that, this thing is rock solid on there. It's just as strong as a normal system, so you'll be good to go using this here. So you'll notice there will be different sets of holes here. The holes that are recessed towards the outside of the rack are actually the ones built for the tonneau cover. You can use the inside ones as well, but these allow you to have a flush fit with the outside of your tonneau cover railing. This is for the system. Now, if you want to opt in and use the optional lower bar that comes with the rack, we did make this an option. If you notice on our drop brackets have 2 different directions. On one side, there is a notch. On the other side, there are 3 holes. We designed the drop bracket to actually be reversible. So what you'll do is you'll flip the drop bracket over so that the 3-hole section of the drop bracket is actually over this track. In your tonneau cover kit will be 4 of these black T-nuts. Now, with there being 3 holes, you will only use the 2 outside holes on that drop bracket. The 3rd hole will be empty. And instead, you'll put the drop bracket with the notch end facing into your bed. Then, with the notch end in your bed, you'll use the 1-hole T-nut and 1 2-hole T-nut to then slide the drop bracket over the lower crossbar to allow you to tighten the bolts into the lower crossbar. 2 things to note with using the tonneau cover system, all right? Now, with the rest of our T-nuts that we use, you want this little lip to be facing down and away from the rack. In this situation, you actually want to reverse it. This is designed to sit underneath like this with the mounted end facing upwards. Now, the second thing that's important to note, we wanted to make this as universal as possible. What we're learning though is that tonneau covers are very variable. So we try to make this work with as many tonneau covers as possible. One variation we're finding though is that the depths of these T-tracks do vary. We've designed this system to work with the most number of tonneau covers as possible. In light of that, some tonneau covers, this bolt may be a little bit too long and you may need to add some washers in order for this to securely snug into here. But for most systems, this does work great. All right, now let's talk about the non-T-track versions or just a standard tonneau cover. This is a rack that we've already pre-installed with the tonneau cover. So we're gonna show you on this system and how we did it with this, and this is how you can apply it to all of the other non-T-track tonneau cover setups. So first thing to look at is that this section right here does have bed rail exposed. Because of this, we were able to find a spot to bolt the rack to here. Look at this as well, as with this one, this particular tonneau cover does allow us to go up and over the chase rack right here. Some of them that may be required, some of them it won't be. Oh, you'll have enough bed rail to work without having to go underneath this tonneau cover right here. Now, for reference, there are 3 different types of tonneau covers with this style that will work. 1, the rolling style. These do work, the 100%, because you can actually roll the cover out and stick everything into here. 2 is the trifold ones. Now, these ones are iffy, okay? The trifold tonneau covers typically do not allow for exposed bed rail here. Those ones, if they have enough bed rail exposed, will work, but you will have to factor in that because of that trifold, it will interfere with the rack. So if you have a trifold one, be aware that only 1 to 2 of your folds will actually be able to close. The 3rd style of tonneau cover is the solid ones. We have seen customers bolt this directly into the solid tonneau covers. That being said, that may void your warranty on the tonneau cover and it may reduce the waterproofness of it. So factor that in if you decide to bolt this into your solid tonneau cover. Every rack is going to come with a bolt-on kit if you decide to go this route. This includes a 2.5-inch carriage bolt, a washer, and then a nylon lock nut. With these, what you'll do is this will go into your bed rail, and then the washer will go underneath, and you'll bolt this bolt directly through the bed rail once you've drilled holes into the bed rail. We've given you several spots where this will fit into the bed rail of the truck to give you enough room and a variability to work with whatever setup you might have. For this truck, for example, we used the holes closest to this side of the bed rail and then scooted the rack out just a little bit, leaving a little bit of overhang. A couple of things to factor in when mounting this way. One, when you're trying to find your bolt holes for places to put this, factor in, one, if there's any debris or things underneath the bed rail that might get in the way when going to tighten this. The second thing is make sure that the bolt isn't too close to one edge of the bed rail or the other. What will happen if you do that is you won't be able to get this nylon lock nut tightened underneath, and you'll have a hard time really getting this thing in there. So when you're deciding on where to bolt this to, factor those two things in. Now, when choosing the holes on here, make sure to choose one hole from the front set of holes and then one hole from the rear set of holes to make this as stable as possible. So make sure your drill bit can handle up to a 5/16" hole in order to bore down into the bed. If you want to use the drop brackets and lower crossbar that are optional, you will have to factor in that you can't attach it directly to the rack with one of these systems. So you will have to get a little bit creative. What we've seen a lot of customers do that seems to work really well is you can bolt the drop bracket underneath the rack. If you decide to go this route, be aware that you will have to pick and bolt this to whatever hole you're bolting through. So factor that in. Now remember that with the lower bar, you will want your rear tire touching. So if you're bolting into here, you will want to make sure that that drop bracket is positioned appropriately to touch the back wheel of your bike. So you may want to do a test before bolting this thing straight in. And that is how you use the Big Days Chase Rack system with the tonneau cover. If you have any other questions on this subject, please reach out to us. We can help you figure out if your tonneau cover will work with our rack. And if you got to sell yours, what you should buy. Thanks.